Here we are once again.
Yep.
What you can say now after an all too familiar story of poor performance and a heavy defeat?
Well, there's not a lot, not a big point saying too much about it, apart from, we didn't handle the first half at all. We got out-fought in the first half, and we allowed them to get into our box too easy. And that's costly when you've got a direct and a physical team like Watford. That part of it. We'd never got on the ball either. Second half is so much better. I think we create 4, 5, 6 big chances. So if we give ourselves a mountain to climb, you just can't catch 2 goals in the Premier League.
Could you believe how poor you were in the first half? David De Gea said to us it was embarrassing.
Yeah, first half was very, very poor, and we need to get the players in a better frame of mind to start the game, because second half, when it seems like they've got nothing to lose, they're playing well. They play well second half.
So I mean, you've come off of awful results.
Yeah.
Why weren't the players in the right frame of mind?
Well,
what's wrong
there? Sorry for smiling there, but that's human beings, and I've got to say you're surprised, because all these lads, good lads, top players, top professionals. There's, of course, when it's not going for you, it's going against you, and it's hard to play with that. Call it mental break. Second half, we come out, nothing to lose. They played fantastically, scored loads of it, or scored a good goal, created chances, but of course it wasn't enough.
But did the individual errors continue? The Harry Maguire one, which led to his second yellow, is that typical of the errors these top-class players are making at the moment?
Yeah, it's a yellow card. It's a bad touch and a yellow card, but the first yellow card should never have been, because the boy is offside. So, but that's nitpicking. But that's for another day, because when lads are offside and you get a booking, that should be looked at as well. Anyway, it was a mistake, and that's we had the upper hand in the second half. We pressed them back. I thought we played well for another 5-10 minutes after that, but then energy died, and they scored 2 goals to finish the game off.
You said before today you were hoping this would be the start of something, a run. It's not. It's the continuation of a terrible run.
Yeah.
Where do you go from here? No,
it's a definite big challenge for everyone in and around the club. So that's the big question. And that's not for here and now.
That's 5 defeats out of the last 7 league games.
Yeah.
Would you understand if the board decided to make a change?
Well, I'm working for and with the club, and I've done that. I've been there for 18 years, and of course we've got a good communication, and if the club are thinking about doing something, that's a conversation between us and not you and me.
I understand what you're saying, but with those statistics for Manchester United, is that acceptable?
The results are not good enough, we know that. We've gone 30 games unbeaten away from home. Now we'll lose 2 on the bounce, conceding 4 goals in both of them. So, of course, something's wrong.
What was behind your gesture when you went across to the fans? You put your hands up at the end.
No,
what was the thought?
I feel for the fans, and I feel with the fans, and I feel the same as them. It's we're embarrassed losing the way we do. We are in a very bad run, a bad situation, but that's part of football, and I know they'll support the team and whoever's on the pitch every single day, and then sometimes you've got to say sorry, and that was a sorry for the performance.
How concerned are you, Ole, about your position? You know the manager carries the can. Yeah. You're not turning it around, and the performances are not acceptable.
That's not for me to worry about. I work as hard as I can, as well as I can, with the staff I've got. Incredible staff, as I said, good top people, good professional players. But at the moment, we're not getting the results. So I understand your question. So but as I said, I'm not going to discuss that with you here and now.
How low are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm very, to put it that way.
Appreciate your time, Ole.
Cheers.
Disappointing result. What can you say about that performance today? Once again, it was not good enough from our side. I think first half was too sloppy. Second half we start well, we scored the goal. We create many chances, but after we did some mistakes that give them some another goals. And after that, you try everything to score a goal and you give spaces. That is natural.
The fans were booing at the final whistle, your away fans here. What was your message to them?
Oh, my message is if we have to blame someone, is blaming everyone, not just the coach or someone on themselves. Is blaming everyone. Is everyone's fault. So my message is just it's okay to blame, but blame everyone, not just one person.
Tweet this afternoon that said watching United's like watching Casualty. You know bad things are going to happen. You just don't know when they're going to happen. There were plenty of bad things today, and yet that shouldn't stop Watford being praised because they're excellent.
Absolutely should get praised because Claudio Ranieri said he doesn't care if they win, lose or draw. He wants to start to see his philosophy, and his philosophy, if it is pressing and getting people into the opposing half and putting pressure on a team like Man United who are lacking in confidence, then they were fantastic today because that's exactly what they did. And they've done it well. You know, Bruno Fernandes had a poor game. That was his contribution to the penalty awarding it. And they missed the penalty, but should have scored it. It could have been 1-0 by then. Look how many players Watford have got forward. Matic, poor ball back, and he should have done better. He should have at least hit the target. And what we're seeing here, we could talk about the structure. Look at Marcus Rashford's effort there, poor. I think that he's got to head this out for a corner, deal with that. Then once this comes back down, you know, again, Watford have got players in the box. I don't think they've closed him down enough. And then bam, you know, King gets his just rewards by being in the box. Bruno Fernandes pointing, someone should be going to him, no one goes to him. And then once it comes out here, again, there's no real energy. This is what I'm saying. We could talk about structure, we could talk about tactics, but you want players trying to get into a situation where they can help. Matic does it, it's too late. And then once this goes into Luke Shaw, he has to come out. Look at Harry Maguire. He's got to realise that that's where the danger is. He doesn't. Sarr finishes it brilliantly. Again, now, this is the kind of game he is having. It's the kind of season he's having. He's having a poor game, he's having a poor season. Tom Cleverley was brilliant today. 2 yellows in 7 minutes. Yeah. Tom Cleverley, like I say, brilliant today. Anthony Martial, poor touch, nice back heel. But then once this ball comes through to him here, I'm looking at Lindelof, and he's more worried about giving away a penalty than actually getting in a challenge, stopping them. Look at this from Matic. This isn't nothing to do with coaching. This is just a player that should be just heading that ball. Doesn't head it, bounces. Once he gets in here, you know, bang. It's a good finish. You've got to give him that. But honestly, it's embarrassing.
Yeah. All sorts of rumours swirling around tonight of emergency board meetings, discussions on Solskjaer's future. If you look at the end of the game here, and Solskjaer going to the Manchester United fans, holding up his hands in terms of an apology. Yep. Bruno Fernandes then stands behind him and basically says to the fans who are giving him a mixed reaction, this is on us, the players. So for us now, don't focus on Solskjaer, focus on the players. David De Gea, in our interview there, went, we don't know how to defend and we don't know what to do with the ball.
Wow. Well, that's pretty embarrassing, I think, from Bruno Fernandes, because they've got the chance to save the manager's back in the performance they put in. So for him to say, just don't blame the manager, blame all the players, absolutely they should do the players, because it's quite clear from their attitude, from their performance, the players don't want the manager. They've stopped running for the manager. They've lost respect for the manager. And when you have a player coming out saying they didn't know what to do with the ball, well, that does lie at the manager's feet, because that's no plan, no tactics. But the players can go out, the players can run around, they can have effort, they can have attitude, and they had none of that. So that tells you what they think of the manager.
I mean, there are several things there. If you're on hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, should you not have respect for yourself and respect for the fans, whatever you think of the manager? Yeah,
absolutely. But that's not the first time we've seen players stop running for managers, and it won't be the last time. That is football, unfortunately.
You know something as well, chappers, we've seen this coming a long time. I think Carl Anker in September said exactly what's happening with them. No shape, no shaping the build-up, no tactics. He said that and got absolutely slaughtered for it. And everything what he said then is still happening now.
I'd say it's from a Watford point of view, they should be the story because their performance. We mentioned about Man United, no game plan, no tactic. That was exactly the opposite for Watford. They knew what their game plan was. It worked to perfection. They won every tackle. They were first to every loose ball from the start to finish, and they knew exactly what they were doing, and they thoroughly deserved it. And they could have scored more.
Yeah. Could have been 6 or 7. What a platform.
Yeah, difficult day for him and for Manchester United. Where do we start? Right. Where do you think Manchester United go from here now in the short term?
Well, it's heartbreaking to see somebody suffering like that, for starters. But there is no other way, I don't feel, other than to say thanks for your efforts, Ollie. He's been a great player. He's done the best he can as a manager, but I can't see how he can turn it round. I think he's had a good stint at it, a good attempt. Manchester United aren't a sacking club that just sack managers willy-nilly. I think he's been under pressure for some time now. And for the money he spent, for the players that he's got at his disposal, it's just not good enough. And it hasn't been for a while. And I go back to what I've been thinking for a while is when you look around in the Premier League and you look at the likes of Tuchel, you look at the likes of Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, they're on a different league totally in terms of their capabilities as a manager. I mean, he managed Cardiff City, he was managing Mulder. His credentials never were that of a Manchester United manager. It's only because he obviously played for the club and it was an interim job and he did quite well and all of a sudden got it on a permanent basis. But we're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the world of football. They need one of the best managers in the world of football. And I'm afraid they haven't got a manager that's even in the top 50 managers in the world of football. So they have to get a better manager, in my opinion.
Sol, you've been a manager. Can you empathise with his situation at the moment when you see a performance like that today?
I think, as a manager, it's a lonely place. When you get to that level, the results have obviously not gone his way. The money he spent as well. But for me, it's the demeanour, it's how he looks. And that look has been there for a long, long time. And yes, the media, yes, some of his friends in the media, yes, the press as well, the fans. Yeah, we all want him to stay. We all want him to do well, as a manager. But it's not happening. And whether they are hanging on to him and they're looking for someone else and they don't want that kind of gap, maybe the right manager's not there at the moment and it's a bit, it might cost a lot of money to get the manager out or whatever. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but what they have to do now is change the manager because he has, he's had a fantastic stint. He's spent money. He's got a great club, one of the biggest clubs in the world. And, manager-wise, he's not at the level. It's just not at the level. They've given it a go. They've given one of their own a really good stint at this, in the hot seat, and it's not happened for whatever reason. It's not happened, and I think that it's time to change, and it will change.
Yeah, you're looking at your clock thinking, could it be tonight, aren't you? That's the sad reality of it. Getting beat away 4-1 on the back of getting absolutely hammered in the Manchester derby. It's just I don't see any way he can avoid it. I think one of the things that the board must be thinking, right, if we're going to get rid of Ole Gunner Solskjael, who are we going to replace him with? And at the moment, sometimes you get a real glut of managers that are out of work. You think, wow, you can get him. He's going to cost nothing and he's exceptional. At the minute, I can't see anybody out there that's big enough, apart from probably Zinedine Zidane, that's available. And
So why change then?
Because almost this it drags everyone down, I think, Steve. I think if you actually say, right, enough's enough, we're going to change manager.
You have to have a plan.
You do have, yeah, but they haven't, have they? They've certainly put it this way: who would be the manager if he went now? Who would be the caretaker manager at the weekend? You'd think, ooh, because it's the same, isn't it? It's McPherson, it's Michael Carrick, it's somebody that you think never had that role before. So, and I just don't see out there who there is. As I say, Zidane is the biggest name out there that could walk into the club and actually feel like he belongs there straight away. Thinks, yeah, I'm big enough to do this. but he hardly talks any English. I'm not sure whether he's got the desire to manage in Manchester. I can't see anybody else. I think it's probably best just to have a temporary manager maybe, and then see what happens in the summer, because you can get more higher profile, higher quality managers maybe in the summer.
I think, it's a really, it's a sticky situation, really. Do they stick a move? If they move, it's costing a lot of money, to move Ole on and to bring someone in. It's a loss of money. I know they've got a lot of money to kind of spend, but you've got to look at the books and you've got to look at, where they are. Maybe is a Steve Bruce good coming in just to kind of, for 6 months? I don't know. Who knows? But it's a real kind of sticky wicket there on big time, because it's either they stick or move, and whatever they do, it might be the wrong answer.
They've made some bad decisions, though, haven't they? I mean, they had the opportunity. There's been some good managers out there for some time, and they had the opportunity. They stuck by Ole Gunner Solskjael through thick and thin. There's been times when they could have let him go, and there's been managers out there very cheap as well. Pochettino, for example, was available for a long time, and now if they go and try to get him out of Paris Saint-Germain, it'll cost a fortune. So they've had the opportunity. Sometimes you've just got to think, wow, he's our man, and we're just going to have to move now while he's available. And they've had that opportunity. So they've made some poor decisions over time as well. And if you go back, since Sir Alex Ferguson, I mean, they've had some of the biggest names around, and even they couldn't turn it round. So it's a difficult one at the minute. But I keep going back to it thinking, how hard can it be when you've got that quality of player?
Well,
how hard can it be to do better than what they're doing?
David De Gea and Bruno Fernandes both said there. I mean, you're both talking about changing the manager. I understand that. But they both said the players have to take some responsibility here. How much of this is the manager and how much of it is players' responsibility?
I don't think you can sort of put a percentage on. Of course, they can't say, yeah, the manager's rubbish, let's sack him.
Do you feel each and every player has been given 110% and running through a brick wall for that manager?
Yes, but I don't think that they rate him. And I think they like him. In fact, I know they like him. And I know there's a few players that just don't think he's a very good manager. So when you've got that, yes, you've got respect for him, but, players will always try their best. Of course, you could, even if you didn't like the manager, you'd never run out onto a pitch and think, I don't really like man, I'm not going to try.
You had better relationships with some than others,
people.
didn't you?
You do, yeah. And what we're talking about at this level is tiny little differences in terms of, getting peak performance. And I just don't think they're tactically set up right. I don't think they play the right team a lot of the time. I don't think there's a plan. I think there's a lot of confusion. I know, for example, someone like Paul Pogba, he gets put in 3 different positions in one game, and I know he doesn't like it. So, I think there's a lot of frustration within the ranks, and as much as everybody likes him around the club, I just think that you've got to be cruel to be kind sometimes, and I think his time is up.
I think he's created an environment, don't get me wrong, everyone likes him, but I think the environment's too easy. Man United is not all about being easy. Yeah, they love playing football and things like that, and they'll go to the wire in every single game, and that's their ethos, But I think he's created an environment was far too easy for people to kind of do whatever they want. And that's what, sometimes you need that discipline. Sometimes you get the discipline with the players on the pitch. But if you haven't got the discipline on the players and the good characters on the... Not saying good characters, but good players, but good characters that they want to do the best every single time, if you haven't got that, then it falls onto the manager. So if the manager hasn't got that, then you've got a big problem. It's far too loose. And I think that's what's happened to Man United. It's far too easy to play there. It's far too easy to kind of just... at home, at Old Trafford's far too easy, and home and away. And also, for them, day to day, it's too easy. Man United's not about easy.
I think a lot of it is characters as well. And do you know what? The older I've got, the more experience I've got, the more I look at football. You look at all the successful teams. Look at his teams when they were invincible. Look at the Liverpool team. Look at Manchester United when they were flying. Look at the characters in those teams. They are almost brutal. It is almost like if you make one little mistake, you dread going into the dressing room. Imagine Roy Keane and Pallister and Bruce and Irwin and Ince and Keane and all of these people. I mean, Mark Hughes, Cantona, Schmeichel. They're animals. They're, you're just not messing. And they're dragging a performance out of anybody. And it's the same in your team. Yeah. I mean, him, Vieira, just go through them all. Tony Adams, Martin Keown, David Seaman. You need real characters. Look at Manchester United now. Look at Manchester United. I could name maybe 1.5 players that are absolute, characters that would scare me if I walked into the dressing room having played badly. Luke Shaw came off again for 10 minutes to go today. Manchester Derby came off 10 minutes to go. Limping, I know I need to come off. Do me a favour. You're under the cosh and you're limping off and playing in the next game and then he'll be doing it again next week. That should never, ever happen. If they had characters in their dressing room, that would never, ever happen.